Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs postgame show presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Luke Stuckmeyer, Ryan Herrera, Cody Delmendo, after a Cubs win on the road, starting the series with a 7-4 win over the Cincinnati Reds. We will have a lot of stuff for you. We'll break down Ian Happ's big game, Patrick Wisdom's big game. We will play a game called Happ or Him. We'll explain later. We'll look into some other things we'll have a little fun with, and we'll look at tomorrow's game coming up on Tuesday as well. The chat has already started up. Pat Hunt saying, games like this give me a lot of hope for the future. Young core, Davis, Morel, Hernandez, PCA, Killian, listen, I don't disagree with any of that, but let's enjoy the win, Cody. Like I say, I don't think there's a ton coming this season, but enjoy them when you get them.
Yeah, like I say, it's just nice to win one. Kevin Malone, Cody Delmendo. Like that, it's just nice to win one, folks. Like, you take them when you get them. And again, it's kind of like what I said in pregame, what Pat's saying. Like, when you win, you see like what there is for the Cubs' future. Chris Morel, he doesn't look like someone who's just going to be a guy. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-star. I'm not going to say he's, going to lead the Cubs in homers for the next 10 years, but he does look like someone who could be part of a winning team.
Of the next great Cubs team?
He's played third, he's played shortstop, he's played second, he's played center field. Like, and he's playing well at every single one of those positions, and he's hitting the ball hard. Like, sure, if he does what he did tonight in a loss, like, yeah, we can look at that and be like, oh, yeah, that's nice. Like, he looks like a good player, but he did that and helped the Cubs win tonight. Like, that's why, to me, it's like, it's still kind of important, to me at least, to win games. Like, because then you really can see some of these guys being part of, when the Cubs really are ready to compete again. Again, it's the Reds. I know. Don't feed me that. I know. I know. You don't have to. Just let me enjoy it. It's just nice to win.
Enjoy this one.
It's just nice to win one, okay? But that's kind of like what my point is, though. Is just when you win games and you see young players like Morel, then like you start to think like, hey, this guy could be something with this team going forward. Imagine him and Nico Horner somewhere on that infield for the rest, like this summer. Like that's going to take a lot of momentum into the offseason if he plays anywhere close to how he's been playing, for the rest of the season. If he stays up with Nico coming back and playing like he was, like there's optimism there.
But maybe Madrigal comes back too, and Morel has really shown how versatile he is. What was his stat? First player since 1906 to start 4 different positions in his first 5 major league starts from Marquee. That flexibility is what piques your interest right out of the gate. Then you see the energy and the way he's playing on the field, and you say, okay, let's see more of this. I mean, at the very least, it's okay to say, let's see more of this guy moving forward.
Exactly.
There's no need to send him back down to AAA right away.
No, not mine.
And I'd rather see him doing this now than in September. Like,
exactly.
I get a better evaluation of who he might be as a player if he does it this month as opposed to at the end of September.
At the end of September, and then you have the whole offseason. You have no idea what. It's kind of like what we said with Frank Schwindel. Like, I mean, obviously different players, different ages and stuff, but Frank had 2 great months, and we just didn't have an idea if he could really carry it over into the season, and he didn't. I mean, he had a couple better games lately, but obviously he got sent down to AAA for a reason. Sat
middle seat in the airplane.
Okay. But just
respect it.
Like I agree. It's like having Morel up now and giving him extended playing time if that's indeed what happens, and then seeing when he does go through that eventual adjustment period, when the league adjusts to him, how he bounces back from that. And then, like we were talking about earlier, Cody, during the game, it's like if Morel gets sent back down because he struggles at some point in the next few weeks, he's 22. Like he was in AA. Like they really only called him up because they needed someone that can fill in a lot of positions. Obviously, he had a good first week in the majors. If he gets sent down because they see some things and they say, hey, we think you'd be better off working on this stuff in the minor leagues where you can get everyday at bats and all this stuff.
Sure.
Then that maybe that's the best course of action. But right now, like Luke said, it's just like seeing him at this level, succeeding, and then kind of seeing where he goes from here. That's a very good case scenario, I guess. I mean, that's
promising.
Yeah, it's promising.
Again, it's just we talk about exploring and all of that, and you see a guy like Morel come up here, and he's playing in Double-A, and sure, he doesn't have all the hype that someone like Brennan Davis or Caleb Killian has, but he's come up and opened some eyes. Like I'm starting off the show talking about a guy who went 1 for 3 and his one base hit was a ground ball up the middle when Ian Happ and Patrick Wisdom went deep tonight. Like I'm looking at
2 weeks ago, we never said his name.
Right. Like I'm looking at the big picture. I really am looking at the big picture, but like it's at the same time.
Turn a new leaf.
At the same time, though, like I just like to point that out that there are pieces here, and I just get so fed up with everyone who's like, there's nothing here right now. It's like there's things here. So, it's just nice to win one. Hopefully, they carry the momentum in tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, and then the box score 1 for 3, with a strikeout. Or 1 for 4. I don't know what this box score is actually, but I know he had 3 hard hit balls. You pointed it out, Cody. Put it on Twitter.
Yeah.
3. His first flyout in the 3rd inning, 95.1 mile per hour exit velocity. His line out in the 4th, 100.5 mile per hour exit velocity, and then obviously the base hit, 111.7 miles per hour. Like that was a shot up the middle, but. We know he has a bat. We saw it in his first at bat. We've seen it just in scouting reports in the minors. Like, the guy can hit, just can he do it consistently? You'd like to see that moving forward, obviously.
I saw Pat Hunt in the chat says, just don't turn into Junior Lake. I think he's here to stay. Please, for all that is good, don't turn into Junior Lake.
That's
and
fair.
Again, like I said in the pregame show, I'm not going to tell you how to cub. Go ahead and root for him. I will say it is a small sample size. I'm excited.
Of course.
I'm excited by what I see. Yeah, it's a week in the majors. Like, we get it. That he could do this all season, and it still wouldn't necessarily be a check mark for yes, because guys do well for a season and then don't have.
I mean, we saw with Seiya, he got April Rookie of the Month, and then May's been kind of a struggle for him. It's been tough for him at the plate, and not through all fault of his own. Like sometimes he's getting, his non-chase plate approach sometimes gets him penalized because you sometimes get those borderline calls or calls that are just outside the plate that he doesn't chase, which is a good plate approach. But then he gets called strike. You saw that on Sunday. I think he had another one today that might have been around there. But again, like you've seen with Seiya, he had a great first month. Second month has been more rough than we kind of expected after that first month. And then you kind of got to see if Christopher Morel can do, if the same thing happens to him and how he responds to that too.
But like Seiya, you see Morel, and when you say he's only 22 years old, one of the things I really like after a week is he doesn't look overwhelmed at all at the major league level. No. He didn't come up at 22 and he wasn't just like shocked by everything he sees. He's clearly playing with confidence. Like I said, he'll err on the side of going too far with a throw or something potentially, but I don't ever see him being too cautious. So I like what I see. It's early, and it's someone to watch and enjoy.
I mean, we've been talking about the bat, but I felt like his defense really was great tonight.
Yep, that too.
Obviously Simmons is an elite glove at short, but with Morel's offense to go with what he showed at short tonight, I mean, that's exactly what the Cubs have missed since Nico went out. Not saying, obviously, with the small sample size, you can't say that Morel should just stick in here and take over that role, but like it does leave you thinking like maybe this guy should stick around as long as he's at least giving you solid at bats, even in the outs that he's making. Like tonight, like you said, the exit velocities, making hard outs. He's had good at bats from what I've seen. He's not striking out on like 3 or 4 pitches. Like it's quality, and that's all you can ask for someone just coming straight up from Double-A. So. Yeah. Again, there's just a lot there that's exciting, and the versatility defensively really is the main thing that is really impressive because it's not like he's only playing well at third or center. He's playing well defensively at all 4 of those positions. You still see that out of a lot of guys.
Yeah, and what would you say, Luke? He's like not backing down for the moment, or I forgot how you phrased it.
He's just not overwhelmed by it. You can tell he's like it's not too much for him.
Yeah, well, that brings me to a quote. We talked to Wilson on Saturday, kind of brought him up a little bit. We talked about what have you seen? Like, what's the key kind of been to Morel's early success right now? Wilson said he's not afraid. He has no fear. That's what he shows. He has confidence in himself. He's been doing it in Double-A. Now that he's here, I haven't seen a change yet. So,
right.
Like, I mean, again, this guy's 22 years old, made a huge jump from Double-A to majors. He had no idea he was going to get called up. Probably thought maybe he'd get the call to Triple-A, not the big leagues. But and then he's just come in here. He's putting good plate appearances together. He's getting the bat on the ball, playing great defense, playing all over the field, and not looking uncomfortable out there. So, it's again, like you said, small sample size, been a week, but just the week that we've gotten from him is very promising. And then I'm gonna keep saying it, you got to see it going forward, but that's where we're at right now. Is, at least in the first week, he's been doing really well.
I mean, he's 22.
Yeah.
He could go down to the minors for multiple years and come back and still work on stuff.
And have plenty of time.
Even if starting tomorrow, he failed, like, you wouldn't rule this guy out based on what you saw early on in his major league career. I believe it was David Snyder had some good comments, and that is our next topic. He was talking about where are the guys that wanted Wisdom gone and traded, and where are they now? And he's on pace to hit 30 homers. You don't get rid of that. He said, here's the exact quote. Where are those who are clamoring that the Cubs need to get rid of Wisdom now? And then later on, he said, Wisdom on track for 30 homers, more than 30 homers. You don't trade that bat. The Cubs only have 3 home run bats on the team. That is true. They don't have power. He does provide something that other guys on the team don't. He, by far, has the most power on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's unquestionable.
There's a reason he has 9-10 home runs now, I think, on the season. Like
10. Now, David, we want to give credit where credit is due, and it's mostly Cody. Since Cody pulled the Amber Heard on Wisdom last week, frankly, I was on that boat. Actually, we didn't. We were very realistic. All we said last week was Patrick Wisdom is striking out way too much for not producing enough home runs, and that was true. But now he's hitting the home runs, and so that makes a difference. When he wasn't hitting home runs and was looking bad at the plate, and then plus striking out, that's when you can't have that bat consistently doing that. Now,
here's some of Patrick Wisdom's stats in those last 4 games now.
Since we dumped on
Thursday, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. Okay, so 4 games. He has 15, or he's got 15 at bats, something like that. 4 home runs, 5 runs, 4 or 5 RBIs. I didn't do that calculation. He has an 1133 slugging percentage, and then that's all I got because of my quick math. But Cody, you did something. You unlocked something in Patrick Wisdom.
It's an old Seinfeld episode. It's the opposite of George.
When I shit on him last Thursday, he had struck out 2 or more times in 4 of his last 5 games. That included consecutive 3 strikeout games at Arizona. And then if you add in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, if you add in the 8 games in total before the Arizona series, he had struck out 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 times in 4 out of 5 games.
And now
in some big opportunity spots too.
Yes. And now he's at 5 strikeouts.
I
in 4
went
games.
on a rant about Patrick Wisdom when he struck out in that. I think it was the 8th inning on Thursday when he had a chance to give the Cubs the lead, and I think he struck out on a pitch that was literally nowhere near the strike zone. So since then, since last Thursday,
since your good luck speech,
he struck out 1, 2. And then I think he struck out tonight. So, or no, 2, 3, I think 4 times in the last, 5 games or 4 games?
What was it?
I think he struck out.
5 strikeouts.
Is it 5 strikeouts?
The last 4 games, yes.
5 strikeouts the last 5 games.
I can handle a
That's
strikeout
better.
game.
That's better. Like, that's literally all I'm asking for is, like, I'm not saying he can't strike out. He's definitely going to strike out. Everyone strikes out. But, like, you can't strike out 3 times every single game like he kind of had been.
And the other problem was people were leaving hangers over the plate, and he was watching him, or he was following him back, and was like, oh, man, he's like the ones that he should be pounding, he's missing. Now, tonight's home run, again, great sign, just like when Schwindel started to kind of break out of his opposite field, drilled it opposite field. So that's a good sign.
Oh, it was a 3-run home run, by the way, so he has 6 RBIs.
6.
Nice.
Yeah,
6
six RBIs in the last 4 games.
Here's where I was stunned. Right before we came on, I looked at this. You know where he is? He's tied for second in the National League in home runs after this.
Oh, wow. Really?
He's 1 off the National League lead. Cron from the Rockies, 11. You know who he's tied with? Mookie Betts, Pete Alonso, Christian Walker, and Kyle Schwarber.
Wow.
10 home runs, all those guys.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Look
So
at
he has
that.
more home runs than Nolan Arenado?
yes. And Albert Pujols. And Yadi Molina.
Wow.
Did I just go there?
It sounds like he's.
But again, a week ago, he wasn't even in that conversation. But he's on this hot streak. Now, I would like to see him be a little more consistent,
For sure.
but anybody would take this hot streak.
Yeah.
And then my only complaint about his home run tonight is that, again, David Ross didn't give us the opportunity for back-to-back to back-to-back to back-to-back, 3 days in a row. They had done back-to-back 2 days in a row, and he separated Wisdom and Schwindel in the lineup.
You should go talk to him about that.
I mean, that should be a discussion, right?
should
Like,
ask him.
why wouldn't you give us that, why wouldn't you give us that carrot?
Try to go for 3 straight.
Yeah, why wouldn't you give us 3? And I think it was the first day it was Schwindel Wisdom, and then it was Wisdom Schwindel, right? He flipped him in the lineup.
Yeah.
They didn't even do it in the same order.
No. And
It
that-
was what do we call it? Schwisdom.
Schwisdom.
I said
And
it
then it was
Wisdell.
Windell.
Wisdell, right?
Wisdell.
I think so.
I guess that's what we can call it.
Today it was just wisdom.
Wisdell.
And
mean-
again, it's all thanks to Cody.
Listen, if I have to yell about players who are not producing the way that they're supposed to be producing, then I'll do it. Like, I will sit here. If I have to will the Chicago Cubs to victories, if I have to will these players to play good, I will do it. I will do whatever it takes for W's. I don't care if it is a exploring season or not. Okay?
You could explore and win at the same time.
Yeah. So whoever I need to yell about
explore.
next,
Yeah.
let me know, and I'll yell about them.
I want to know if you think, if this probably you could do this on PointsBet, I would think. I want to know if you think right now, the way it stands, I don't even know the number for the other guy, will Wisdom have more home runs than Chris Bryant this year? Playing in
Right.
Colorado, but banged up.
Right now, it seems like it. When he was
Yeah.
playing, he had.
Steven,
I
do
mean,
you
he
have
doesn't
on
even
him
have
home
one
runs
yet.
for KB?
I could.
0.
0.
Oh wow, really? And
Pretty good lead. 10's a pretty good lead.
Yeah.
He's been hurt the last.
That's true. Yeah,
he's
he
been
got
out-
hurt
he's
for a
been
while.
out. for a
Obviously, he's a
while.
lot cheaper.
Yeah,
And he's playing good third base.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
My,
he's
how a
even-
week changes our perspective on things.
Not even like 4 days.
That still doesn't mean that like I still would rather have Chris Bryant. Like I'm sorry, I would.
Agreed.
You give me a healthy Chris Bryant for 162 games, I want that. I'm sorry. That's not biased. That's like that. Everyone would rather want that. Like, let's not get it twisted.
Yeah, what does John
But-
say? Similar OPS plus than Anthony Rendon, and he's not making $40 million.
There you
Again,
go.
all small sample sizes, but all of
Yeah.
these things are true.
Yeah, it's true. Listen, I was just shitting on him 4 days ago. All right. So again, if we
Cody,
get more,
Amber Herding.
if we if we get some consistency, like Luke said, just like honestly, if his strikeout rate gets below 35%, you take that with the 35 bombs. And that's all you can ask for. That's honestly like what Javi Baez was doing for the Cubs last year
No, the best part about the game,
as far as a hitter.
I think it was after Wisdom's home run when he was talking about all his stuff, and he's like, and he brought his strikeout rate down to 40%, and we're like, brought it down.
It was at 41.
Yeah, hey, you know what? If it consistently goes down like that, then you got an argument. But it's got to consistently go down.
Exactly.
Like that.
If the guy strikes out below 35% of the time, then you can. I really can think that maybe he has a place on this team. I don't know how long we want to wait to see if he can do that, but that's my opinion. Because if he can hit 30, 35 bombs and strike out less than 35% of the time, there's a lot of guys who are doing that who are successful and
Right.
making significantly less money.
Yeah,
That's why we said beginning of the season when he had the first slump, we said it's too soon to cancel the experiment because they have nobody that offers what he offers, which is good defense, great power. So if he can cut down the strikeouts, which does, again, seem very unlikely because of his track record. He's had a long time to get to where he's at in the minors and cut down on those strikeouts. So is it unlikely that he will cut down on those strikeouts? Yes.
I think so.
But I don't want to kill your buzz right now.
I'm not even asking for a lot. I'm asking for 35%. He's at 40.
I just, and you mentioned like just kind of, hey, maybe he could be a part of the future. It's just like, it's tough to want to say, hey, this 30-year-old slugger's part of the future, right? He's 30 years old, and I mean, you're asking a 30-year-old to change how he's done it for the last, maybe 20, 25 years since he started playing baseball. I have no idea when. But you're asking him to change his own approach. It's like if he was Christopher Morel and you have time, you can send him down to the minors. You can do all this stuff with him. That's different. Yeah. Patrick Wisdom's 30. Like it's kind of running out of time. Like if he is going to change and become less of a strikeout hitter or any of that stuff, that has to happen like now. And I guess it happened the last 4 games, but that has to happen now and like stay like that. And just like Luke said, track record, just what we've seen in the last year since he got called up. Doesn't look like that's realistic, but a good story, obviously, especially like last year when he came up, beat Chris Bryant's rookie home run record. Like, great story. It's just it's going to be tough for him to put himself in a position to be, the third baseman of the future since he's 30.
Right.
The next great Cubs team, it's going to be unlikely that he's their starting third baseman.
I would agree. Now, let's also say that if he were to, even if the strikeouts continue to be there, let's say he cuts it to what Cody wants, 35%, but he hits 35 bombs this year, you might get at least a trade. I wouldn't have said this a week ago, but now looking at it and knowing he's second in the National League in home runs, somebody might give you something for a guy that in the postseason could hit them a couple home runs, especially off the bench, and a guy that's not bad defensively. You wouldn't have to pull him from the game necessarily because of his defense. You could put him in and leave him in there and feel comfortable with him at third base and maybe another position.
Yeah, listen, if someone wants Patrick Wisdom, if he's playing well and someone wants him, like,
see what you get for him.
Yeah, like,
see what you could get for him.
Yeah, CHGO White Sox, if you want to trade Crochet for Patrick Wisdom.
Want to send us Andrew Vaughn?
Steven?
It's going to happen, man.
I'm always throwing that out there.
If someone actually wants to do
up.
it, if someone actually wants to do it, you definitely at least listen to the offer.
Can we talk who you got?
Yeah, you want to go right to who you got? Let's do it.
Who you got?
So Cody gets this win, but I will say I still believe it was closer than what you might initially think.
And why is that?
Now, I think you certainly get the win because your guy had a home run, 4 ribbies, and a double.
Yep.
And a
Drew
walk?
Smiley, we thought was going to have an opportunity for this to slide in
Close, man. It was
and
close.
potentially get it, but then he gives up a bomb. So 3 earned runs, 5 2/3.
It was close. It was this close, man. He got 5 2/3. I thought it was locked down. Even when he gave up that first home run, I thought it was locked down.
Well, Smiley finishes last because Seiya had 2 walks, 2 runs scored, and a double. That's not a bad day.
That's not bad.
He's been talking about hitting that ball off the wall the whole time. That was his argument for the win until Happ hit that home run.
He damaged the wall. He hit that thing 110 miles per hour.
That was his argument until Happ hit that
patch the
home run.
fence.
And there was like, no, you did not win.
Yeah.
How many ballparks was that a home run in? Did we look that up on?
Oh, what did Dong say? No, what did Dong never brought that up. So I don't
because they
I
knew
don't
it would have gone out in all of
Yeah, I
them
don't
except
know.
for Cincinnati.
Sure
Except for
most
Cincinnati.
likely.
This is
Anyways,
what
we'll give you that, Cody.
Yeah,
So
Cody.
now it's 2-2-2, right?
2-2-2.
I think Cody's a clear winner. I don't know what the actual score is though. I feel like
I'm in second place for
We've
this.
definitely.
No, I mean like we've just neglected.
We have
keeping
not
track.
kept up with the score.
We'll call it 2-2-2. Let's just call it 0-0-0 right now and start over.
No, we don't want to start over.
What's the difference?
2-2-2.
What's the difference?
2-2. Because we're weird.
We're only
It doesn't
showing
matter.
6 games. It's a terrible stat.
Yeah, out of 41 now.
I feel like we're halfway through the season. We've done it for 6 games. Come on now. We got to start making the picks even when we're not doing a podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Like, we have to just put it on record and at least.
Yep.
All right.
Maybe
So
even tweet something out.
who you got? Cody won this one, but I'm just going to say Seiya was not a bad pick.
No.
Smiley wasn't a terrible pick until that home run, which was just a rocket ship.
I really do love firing off what did you love about, or what was your favorite part of the, whatever the score is, part or lead?
Right,
or whatever.
yeah.
Because the replies are just, incredible. It's either people in their sarcasm or people ready to, run in, go play in traffic. Like, it's just really fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
we haven't even talked about Ian Happ. Can we talk about Ian Happ? I guess we kind of have.
That's going to be our.
That's our next segment. I
okay.
teased that we will do Happ or him. He was, he was awesome.
It was great.
Happ was great. And you know who else was really good, actually? The bullpen again. The bullpen has bounced back from their one bad game of the year.
Yep.
And Smiley went 5 2/3, man. And then
Almost
the bullpen
there.
goes 3
6.
3 1/3 with one run.
It's close to 6.
Yep.
Like, again, Efros came back, bounced back. Martin gave up the one run.
Yep, to Aquino. Cubs
Robertson
legend.
comes in, closes it
Cubs
down.
killer.
Again, so, I think Efros is a piece of the future moving forward.
Yeah.
I probably
100%.
shouldn't just say that. I don't say anything. I've decided I'm not going to say any of those guys are 100% yet because it's not even to the All-Star game. But he looks really good.
Scott Efros looks, that sinker slider combo, like
he looks like something.
It's dirty, and
like I said, those runs that he got charged on Saturday are some bullshit.
Yeah,
that was an error. That was an error on Vargas, and that's why he got DFA'd the next day.
Yeah.
What about your bets? How did the Cubs won? Did you
Cubs
win?
money line. I had Cubs money line. I had Ian Happ to get 2+ total bases.
Boom.
Got
So
it.
I went 2-0.
2-0. Look
two.
at that. Keeping the bank alive.
What's the bankroll up to now? Because
I haven't checked.
you're taking a slide, right?
Yeah, it's not been great, Bob. But
You're back in the game.
But yeah,
Good night to go 1-0 or 2-0.
yeah. Yes, those bets were made on PointsBet. If you guys did not know, which I hope you all knew. The best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. Look, one exactly like the one I'm wearing right now, actually.
Nice.
If you have any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com and we'll help you. Remember that PointsBet is your home for live in-game betting. They even have a new exclusive feature, live NBA same-game parlay. For the first time ever, build the perfect live same-game parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game. You can even boost your live same-game parlays. And now, if you didn't know by yet, or by now at least, online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can actually download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. And, like I say every show, if Luke can do it, literally all of you can do it. So can you. It's really that easy. Signing up with the fastest sportsbook is now easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. Use code CHGO to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
2 things. Jack R says, Crosstown pod this weekend? He asks, actually.
Yes, we will be here all weekend.
Yeah, was it pregame Crosstown pods and then...
Pre-game will be Crosstown pods, and then post-game will be just Cubs.
Okay.
And just Sox.
And then
We'll do individual post-game shows.
Yeah. And then David mentions... he hasn't heard anyone say anything about the new bat Wisdom is using.
Yeah, the big knob. Brendan's been talking about that.
Yeah,
He's been big on the big knob of Wisdom.
Patrick.
Sammy used to do that. Sammy used to use one that had a big knob.
Yeah,
at the
David,
bottom
if you want to see, go follow Brendan at Brendan_Cubs on Twitter. He's been talking about it for the last few days, maybe a week. I don't know exactly when he started using it again, but Brendan's been talking it up for a while.
Well, and should it continue again tomorrow, then we may do an entire segment on the knob of his bat. But
whoa, now Robbie's trying to say that the changing of the bat is what made Patrick Wisdom hit great. No, it's Cody. It was Cody.
The knob on the bat is a coincidence. It was Cody.
It was definitely me.
And the duty that he did.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes you just have to assert what you want.
Right.
And that's what I did.
Yeah.
And that's what we got.
That's what we
You're
got.
all welcome.
Thank you for the support here at CHGO, though. We're doing the post-game shows, podcasts every day. Premium written content for members at allchgo.com. Ryan's big there, so you can see all the stuff. Dope merch for all the teams, the free shirt when you become a member, and the members-only Discord, the CHGO Lounge. Ooh, Brendan, the bat professor, they're saying now. No, he's the pitch doctor.
He's a
Yeah.
pitch.
Oh, he could
He's
be
the
both.
pitch doctor. He could be both.
Yeah, his talk about Keegan Thompson's changeup makes my hair stand up a little
Yeah,
bit.
he's very romantic in his
Oh.
pitching dialect.
Yeah. Romantic
Something
is
like
the right
that.
way to put it.
We got 66 people in the chat.
Love
Hell
that.
yeah.
Love that. Monday night.
This team is, 7 games under 500?
Yeah.
They are now.
And there's
now
66 people in the chat. You'll
Well,
love to see it.
Brendan was right about that, too. I said, guys, do you really think they're going to get back to 500? Brendan said, all they have to do is win 8 straight.
That's
Well, you know
first of
what?
8.
7 more to go.
As Jack said, a way to get there would be start by sweeping the Reds.
yeah.
There you go.
Don't underestimate the Reds. That would be a big mistake. So a good start for that. You ready for your favorite game, Happ or him?
Hap or him? All
All
right.
right,
So,
explain the
He rubs
rules
his
to us.
so Ian Happ's home run was his 14th at Great American Ballpark.
Play along at home.
In his career. Play along at home if you want. Send in the chat. What we're going to do is I'm going to ask both these two. Whether I'm going to give them a player, and then they're going to have to answer whether Happ has more, Happ has less, or has the same amount of home runs at Great American Ballpark. Not Cincinnati.
Not against the Reds, but at that ballpark.
At Great American Ballpark.
In any uniform.
Because he has 14. Any uniform. So the guy could have played
So
1
Dexter
year.
Fowler could be
Oh, yeah.
multiple teams.
Yeah, Dexter Fowler could be – I could say Dexter Fowler because he played 2 years for the Cubs, but any home run he ever hit at Great American Ballpark counts.
But like his home runs in Colorado don't count. They only count if they were hit in Cincinnati.
Yes, and at Great American
Ballpark. I'm clear on the rules.
Yeah, so say someone played in the 90s before Great American Ballpark opened
Doesn't
up.
count.
Does not count. All right?
Got it.
When did it open up again?
2003.
2003?
Yes. Synergy Field.
And
was
these
the-
is this for career or is this only with the Cubs?
No,
No, this is career. That's what we're trying to say, like,
And
at
you could
all
play
career.
any home run they hit in their career at that ballpark.
as long as they
Okay.
played for the Cubs at some point. So
Okay,
you'll see a couple names that you're like, huh?
All right, who's first?
All right. I'll give you a toss-up one. Ian Happ versus Patrick Wisdom.
Well, I mean, it's
And take Happ.
got to be Ian Happ.
Ian Happ what? More or
Ian
less?
Happ has more than
Yes.
Patrick
Yeah,
Wisdom.
that was actually Patrick Wisdom's first home run at Great American Ballpark.
There you go.
So there you
One
go.
for
Just
one.
starting us off easy. He's
All right.
lathering us up.
All right, we got another current Cub, Wilson Contreras. Ian Happ versus Wilson Contreras.
Happ.
I will go Ian Happ because one of the stats in the game was that he has the highest slugging, top 5 highest slugging percentages ever at that ballpark.
Hey, doubles build that up, man.
It is, but
They do.
I'll go Happ.
Yeah, I'll
All
go
right,
Happ,
all
too.
right. Correct. It is Ian Happ.
Two
There you
for
go.
two.
All right, 2 for 2. All
Two
right,
for 2.
here we go. Now we're gonna start getting into a lot of the sluggers. Ian
I'll get
Happ
that right.
or Kyle Schwarber.
See, that's tough because Schwarber hit a lot of bombs at that ballpark.
And he played a full season and a half.
See, but now you're
before
trying
Ian
to
Happ.
steer us.
No, I'm just
Nah,
saying.
this is this old beer money trick. You're trying to steer away
All
from
right,
the answer.
all right.
But I know that it's also
The
sometimes
former host
done.
of Beer Money, he
I know that
knows.
that's
He
done, and you're
knows.
not really doing it.
Yeah,
so I'm going to
steering you by not
Oh,
steering
Cody,
you.
I think we go Schwarbs
Yeah, I was going to take Schwarber.
because even though that stat said slugging percentage, Schwarbs didn't hit as many doubles there. He hit a lot of bombs. I think we go Schwarber. What do you think?
Yeah, and this includes after he goes to,
Right.
Yeah.
to
Last
Washington.
year he could have
Yeah.
hit a ton of them
Yep.
with
Yeah.
the
The
Nationals.
Nationals, yep.
Because he went on that string, and he could
And
have
he's
hit
also
some with the
have-
Phillies.
Have the Phillies played the Reds yet this
Well,
year?
he's got
Couldn't tell
10
you.
homers already this year.
Couldn't tell
So
you.
if they did, there's a chance that one of them was there.
I'll go Schwarber.
I say we stick with Schwarber.
Schwarber? Sorry, no. Kyle Schwarber only has 11 in his
See,
career at
that
Great
was the
American
beer
Ballpark.
money mislead.
All right. Next up on the docket, we have one Anthony Rizzo. Ian Happ or Anthony Rizzo?
I'll take Anthony Rizzo. His career's too long.
Career's too
A
long?
lot of years.
Yeah. I'll take Riz.
A lot of years. A lot of home runs. Reds have been bad for a lot of those years. Cubs were good most of Rizzo, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, even whenever the rebuild was happening, the Reds
I
were
don't
good.
think I also don't think Ryan's going to go 4 in a row Ian Happ. I agree. I say we go Rizzo. Let's
Yeah,
go
I'm
Rizzo.
going Rizzo.
Correct. Anthony Rizzo. You got Anthony
3 out of
Rizzo.
4.
He has 22 in his career. All right. Now, next up, Cody's favorite player, Chris Bryant. Ian Happ or Chris Bryant?
Chris Bryant had he murdered the Reds in 16. Murdered them. Like, it's surprising that their franchise was still alive after 16.
I also remember he had a stretch, whether it was injuries, like I can remember him hitting one and then it being like his first in like 3 years or something there.
I'm going to take Happ.
Remember, I said it's more, less, or the same. There are players on these lists that have the same as Ian Happ. Just putting that out there.
Well, so if we pick Chris Bryant, we win because it's the same.
No.
You're not saying more or less.
More, less, or the same.
Or now you're saying
That's
or
what
the
I said.
same.
More, less, or the same. I said that earlier. Anyway.
I'll
let's
say
stick
Happ.
with Bryant. You're going to say Happ?
I'm gonna take Happ.
All right, let's go with Happ.
Going Happ?
Yes.
There we go.
What is that, 4 out of 5?
Something like
Man,
that.
you
yeah.
owe us
4
a
for
lot
5.
of beer money at this
Chris
point.
Bryant has 10 in his career. All right. Oh, it's a good one.
10? Wow.
All right. Ian Happ or Javier Baez?
Uber
Same.
bus player.
Let's go with same, Cody. What do you think?
Yeah, I like same.
You like same?
I like
think they're
same.
a
He played
tie.
for the Mets too. Yeah, I don't know if he hit any with the Mets.
But he hit one
but-
with the Mets.
Same?
Also, you know how much he hated Amir Garrett. You know, he loved beating the Reds.
I am also tempted to just go Happ. Again, back to Happ. We'll go same. We'll play it same this time.
Same?
Same, yeah.
It was Ian Happ.
It was Ian.
It was Ian
Happ.
Happ. Javier
All right.
Baez has 8 at Great American
What are we,
Ballpark.
4 out of
Really?
6 now? 4 out of
Wow.
6?
4 for 6.
does
Yeah,
strike
it's,
out a
it's good. It's 67%.
Jack said the same thing, that Javi had hit a lot there.
Yeah. I mean, he did. 8 is a lot, but that's actually less than pretty much everyone I've said. All right, now we get into some oldies.
All right.
Derek Lee,
D. Lee.
more or less or the same?
I'll go less. So
There's got to be at least one same because he put same in there. How many more of these do we have?
I think Happ.
Yeah.
I think Happ has
Dude,
more.
I mean, this is only an hour podcast.
Derek Lee, like 2005 was like his best season, and then he didn't hit nearly as many home runs after that season. After the
So we're going to go Happ?
I'm going Happ. Yeah,
Boy, D. Lee's a long stretch of time, though,
that is true.
because he also could have hit him with the Marlins.
True.
I say D. Lee.
D-Lee?
I'll stick with Happ.
You are
You're all wrong.
both wrong.
It was the
You're
same.
both wrong. It's the same. There's
Same.
our same
There's
guy
our
right
same,
there.
yeah.
All right. That was fun. I like that. All right. Ian Happ versus Aramis Ramirez.
Oh, I'm going to Ram.
I'm going Rami.
Yeah. A-Ram, that's an easy ding. A-Ram had 18.
That guy just mashes bombs.
A-Ram
All
had
he did
18.
was hit.
He
All
was
right.
a vibe.
Here we go. Alfonso Soriano.
Well, I'll take Alfonso Soriano.
Take Sori.
Yeah. Once again, the guy just murdered baseballs.
Yeah, because
and he has a longer career.
I'm going to go Soriano too. No,
Ryan likes
Same.
throwing these little curveballs here on you. He's got 2 of the same in this one now.
2 of the same. Yep, they're the same.
we've
They
only
both hit-
missed like 3.
both
We've
hit
been pretty good
14.
here. Same. Oh, it was another same.
Yeah, it was another same. They both hit 14.
Yeah, whatever.
How many more?
I'm
2
just
more.
never going to guess same.
All right. Next one up. Jim Edmonds.
Oh, he played with the Cardinals,
Played with
so
the
they would have played in
Cardinals.
division for a long time.
Yeah,
then
they
with
were
the
good.
Cubs.
I don't know if he played. Did he play with anyone after the Cubs? I think he did for like Indians maybe.
I think
Played
so.
with the Angels beginning of his career, then went to St. Louis. then
Yeah,
went
I'm gonna say Happ. Jim Edmonds hit a lot of home runs, and it was a little close to the juicing period.
Yeah, I'm going to take Edmonds as much as I hate
You're gonna
it.
take Edmonds?
Yeah, I'm going to take
See, I think
Edmonds.
we're split on this. I think Happ.
Luke's
All
correct.
right, we'll start with Luke.
Happ.
There you go.
And then,
Okay.
sorry, Cody, we got one of these for you.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jim
whatever.
Edmonds hit 9 in his career at Great American Ballpark, but he
But he
also
dove for a lot of baseballs that he misplayed early
There
on,
you go.
probably.
All
I
right,
hated Brandon Phillips.
and here we go. Ian Happ or Sammy Sosa, more or less are the same.
Well, most of Sammy's wouldn't have been at that ballpark.
It's true. 2003. Ooh, I'll take Happ.
So you're only getting
You're getting
2003,
2.
2004. You're only getting 2 years for Sammy to hit
And it was at the back end of his
14
prime.
home runs.
I'm taking Happ.
I'm going to say Happ, too.
Good job. Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually hit 10 home runs at Great
10,
American
that's
Ballpark. He hit 10 home runs at Great American Ballpark.
God,
Yeah.
steroids were the best,
and,
man.
And then he had
Steroids are
16
awesome.
at Synergy Field, which is the home of the Reds from 1970 to 2002.
Gosh.
So there you go. What was that? I lost track of the score. You guys
I mean, we were more than
variated.
70%. We were a passing grade in class for sure.
Well,
we had the
I'll count
two
them up.
sames. We got the two sames were wrong.
Yes.
So it was Soriano.
1, 2. You got Bryant wrong. Schwarber wrong.
No, we got Schwarber right.
No, you didn't. Didn't they say?
We said
I said Schwarber.
Schwarber.
Yeah, Schwarber wrong, but Schwarber was less.
But we split, didn't we?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
So at least 4. At least 4 wrong. Anyway, yeah, let's move on.
I mean, I thought we were pretty good.
That was fun.
WWE Day, I wanted to bring this up real quick on the podcast. I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but WWE Day now coming May 30th to Wrigley Field. The WWE Championship photo op will be there for you. Why don't they call the belt the championship belt? I don't understand it, but apparently they just call it the WWE Championship. Every other thing is called the trophy, the Stanley Cup, the trophy, yada, yada, the belt. It's just, anyways, you get a free fanny pack at the ballpark. And I thought to myself,
This was like Stucky's full-on get off my lawn.
yeah,
rant.
I've never worn a fanny pack in my life. You know how many fanny packs have been
They're
giveaways
in.
in my life? Like koozies and fanny packs. I could send like 30 of them somewhere else, like Goodwill, wherever. Like they're everywhere. But aren't fanny packs supposed to be making a comeback? And
They
one
are.
that
Yeah.
looked like a championship belt would look kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'd take one.
I don't think I'd ever wear it. I'll be honest with you. I don't think
I've been out the game since I don't know, like the early 2000s, but
Sad day.
Which Cubs players or former Cubs players would make the best WWE?
Javi Baez.
Javi would be good for the flair.
Yeah.
For the flare, sure.
How about now ripped Soriano? He already did the you can't see me.
Ripped Soriano,
Right?
yes.
We saw the
Yeah.
picture of him at the beginning of the
Yeah.
season, was like, what has he been eating and working out with?
I could
Yeah.
see Wilson Contreras as a good.
Wilson would be
WWE
good.
wrestler.
He'd be a great heel.
He'd be a
Can we
Brock
get Carlos
Lesnar type.
Zambrano in this?
I was
mix?
going to say,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got to be
Big
the
Z's
beginning
got to
of
be
it.
top
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
And my other one, Kyle Farnsworth, who was already
Oh, yes.
pile driving some guys.
Cubs legend.
What about tall
Farnsworth?
guys?
Farnsworth for sure. Zambrano for sure. I think jacked Soriano.
Jacked, not Cubs player.
And then
just
do you go?
jacked
You would either go
Soriano.
Javi Contreras, or player X would be my fifth guy. And I'm not sure who player
I think
X would be.
Sean Marshall would be good just for the height, like an Undertaker type.
Too skinny.
Undertaker
Sean
type
Marshall,
player.
the pitcher?
Yeah, he's
No.
tall.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
just need some height, man.
He's tall,
Dude,
but
Vince McMahon loves the tall.
Farnsworth
big,
was
look at that.
tall.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Look at this.
I mean, look at that shot of Soriano.
Yeah, get it on there.
I mean, he could
I need
easily
it.
lift somebody over their head and just throw him.
Yeah.
Oh man,
D. Lee's a big dude.
D-Lee is a tall dude, tall big dude.
Zambrano and Farnsworth would be awesome.
I could see like what about small guys like Tony Campana would be
No.
a
But
high
Javi
flyer.
would be good because he'd be so athletic. He could do like the flying dive, off the top of the ropes and stuff,
Oh,
and really acrobatic
you
stuff.
need to brush up on your wrestling terminology, Luke.
What do they call that?
Flying dive,
I don't know. The flying swan,
swanton bomb,
the DDP, Diamond Dallas Page,
the diamond cutter. You mean?
Diamond Cutter,
Legend.
DDP. Michael Barrett. Somebody
yeah,
said.
Nick G said Michael Barrett.
yeah,
he also
Michael
said Vince
Barrett
McMahon
would be
hates
good.
it being called a belt. So there you go.
Why?
Vince McMahon, he doesn't like them being called wrestlers anymore. He likes them being called WWE superstars.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, it's
This guy.
It makes a
Vince
lot of
McMahon's got his thing. Vince McMahon's got his thing.
He's got his thing. All right. We have
Oh, we're minimized.
Like, where are we? There we go.
There we go.
hates it. Nick says he doesn't just despise being called a belt. He says he just hates it.
Yeah, which Vince. It's
Well,
like,
Sammy would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He could still do it now. If Sammy showed up to WWE,
And dabbed on him like he does in that photo that's on the internet. Just
but
boom.
if that was like his first appearance in like 10 years, and he showed up on WWE, people would watch that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
What
watch
if Mark
that.
McGuire and Sammy showed up right now?
Ooh, buddy.
It would still draw some.
That'd be like
yeah.
and then
Hulk.
Canseco jumps in there.
That'd be like Hulk Hogan and The Rock in like 1999 WrestleMania
That was
or whatever.
2002.
2000.
Didn't they just
I
bring The
gotcha.
Rock back for something? Did he show up to that most recent?
I have no idea.
I
He
thought-
comes
I know
back
Stone
a lot,
Cold
but
was.
Corey's
Stone Cold
clearly
was at
not watching the
WrestleMania.
podcast because he lives for this stuff.
Yeah, he does.
Stone
knows the
Cold,
details.
Stone Cold was at WrestleMania. He fought for the first time in like 19 years.
Yeah.
I don't watch wrestling that very much anymore, but I needed to see that one. Anything? I mean, yeah. Corey's not even. He's nowhere near. Will's at the. I think Raw is at the All-State right now. Actually,
Right now, tonight?
Monday Night Raw. Pretty sure Will's out there. Oh, but he hasn't. I don't know. He hasn't lived here, but actually, I don't know.
But do you think he went there?
Maybe.
Wow, that's crazy.
I don't know where Monday Night Raw is.
Listen,
I just need one of those belts, those fanny packs.
I just know that if you enjoy CHGO, one way to help us continue to grow is to download the PointsBet app and use the code CHGO when you sign up. Not only do you get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you get a free CHGO membership. It unlocks all the web content from Ryan, and you get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we'll help you out. And in case you missed it, online sign-up available right here in the state of Illinois. You can actually download the PointsBet app right now, register your account, start to finish, all from your phone, and you're signing up with the fastest sports book. It's easier than ever, so start living your bet life in seconds. What are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Do we want to touch on Bleacher Jeff real quickly? I know this has been very important.
Sure.
Do I need to tell a story? I wonder. I'm really interested to see what the chat has to say about this.
If you're in the chat,
What
listen
happened?
up.
Now, what happened
So
exactly?
this is my understanding, and I'm someone who honestly didn't really learn about it until like the day after.
Can you tell us who Bleacher Jeff is? First
Bleacher
of all, 'cause
Jeff.
I don't know Bleacher Jeff.
Bleacher Jeff is a longtime bleacher bum.
Okay.
He sits in left field in like the well, like for that little curved
Okay.
spot. He recently he caught a home run ball.
Oh, I remember somebody saying
and then
that, yeah.
Marquee tweeted a picture of him or whatever, catching it and tagged him on Twitter. He's a bartender at Nice Lounge. He's quite popular on Cubs Twitter. I'll just say that.
He's got a following.
Yeah. Sure. Again, this is from my understanding. Someone came to the Cubs game on Saturday and purposely sat in his seat, and then I guess he tweeted about it, and his tweet led to people arguing back and forth about being a gatekeeper and you don't own a seat and all this stuff. But he says apparently that there's unwritten rules on for season ticket holders.
But there are no seats in the bleachers.
I know.
So that was part of the fight?
It's not. I don't even know if it's a fight.
He's saying because he sits there every game, when he runs down and gets that spot, he feels some sort of dibs are called for other games that he might not get there in time for. That's the argument?
I guess.
He's going Chicago dibs. Well, he needs to put a chair there. He needs to put a garbage can or a broom or something with dibs on it and his name.
Again,
Bleacher Jeff.
I could be a little off. I'm not 100% sure of what the story is, but this is the gist that I've gathered reading my timeline. And there were actual people who were
angry, huh?
Angry because and it was a lot of out of towners. All right. I have some, I have some
Jack
friends.
says I side with Bleacher Jeff.
I have some friends who come to games once or twice a year because they live either downstate or in Iowa or Indiana, whatever. And, they don't go to games like I can every day if I really wanted to. So I kind of get where they're coming from. But at the end of the day, for me at least, it's just I'm not really taking a side. I just think that the whole idea of the entire thing and then Cubs Twitter blowing up about it honestly just kind of sums up the 2022 season and the fact that we stinks and the fact that Cubs Twitter is arguing over dibs in the bleachers.
Dibs in the bleachers.
There's a reason that the Cubs slogan is "It's different here." That's all I can say, man. It is what it is. I'm really down the middle. I don't blame people for siding with Bleacher Jeff. He is one of the more popular Cubs fans on Twitter.
I think we need to get him on a podcast and ask him what really went down because BKR Sport is saying, is it an actual individual seat, though? No, because that doesn't exist in the bleachers.
No,
He just
LOL,
benches.
how do you know the exact point where the seat is?
It's like in that little corner.
It's
down
like
there,
that
right?
in that left
cor-
field
it's the well curve,
yeah,
right?
like
Well.
he sits in like that first or second row. I can't exactly remember. And
Can we find a picture of Bleacher Jeff? Is that what you're going for, Steven? Because I would like to see this. And this is an honest question. This is not ripping Bleacher Jeff. If he has spent the last 500 games at Wrigley Field in that same spot, maybe he has some sort of argument. I'm not going to say he doesn't. However, this is an honest question. What if Ronnie Woo Woo walked down there and wanted that seat? Woo Woo goes to every game too.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, again,
What if Corey Friedman walked down there and wanted that seat? He goes to every game.
he's a season
I'm
ticket
just
holder.
saying, like, there's a lot of people that
I
go
think-
to every game. What's I can't think of her name. The gray-haired lady that always sat behind the dugout.
Dead. I want to say Debbie, but it's not.
No,
Dead.
it's
Not
not.
sure.
Somebody will know her name. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people that you will see every. What if our guy Crawley wanted to sit in Bleacher Jeff's seat, and he's like, my name's Crawley, and I just started a podcast today, and I want that seat.
Oh,
What
God.
then? What does
they would-
Bleacher Jeff do?
It's-
What about the
it's-
guys from Club 400?
No, you
What
know
if they
what?
say
If-
I deserve that seat?
It's like in that scenario, it's an unstoppable force versus an immovable object.
That's right. That's
It just-
right.
I will
Wait,
ask for YouTube to stream the broadcast so we could see it pan to left field every 5 seconds, so we can get an update on what's
Which
happening
guy was
with the
Bleacher
seats.
Jeff in that photo?
I think it was the guy on the right.
I'm also like when
With the glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
when I was a kid, going to Cubs games, I always wanted that seat, and there was always someone there. What if I had gotten there first?
Bleacher Jeff.
Probably, but I'm like, what if I was sitting there when he got there? Would he have kicked me out? Would he
Probably
have told me-
WWE style, throwing you right
I
over the
think
fence.
What
This
if it's
is
just someone
for-
that doesn't know the bleacher culture?
For
You can't just kick
context,
someone out.
Dolores, thank you, Robbie. Dolores was the
There you go.
lady.
There you go.
For context, the guy who did this, did it on purpose. Like, he came with the idea of sitting in Bleacher Jeff's seat or spot, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's what kind of led to the drama of who's siding with who.
It's a lot of drama.
It's just very, very, very funny. From my perspective,
I think it's hysterical.
I sit in left
I
field.
think Dibs in Chicago is funny.
Yeah.
But Dibs at Wrigley Field for
Yeah.
a bleacher seat that doesn't have an actual seat is amazing.
But the
Right.
also thing is, if you call dibs, whatever you're calling dibs on has to be visible. So if you're not there to call dibs on that corner seat, you can't really call dibs.
Yeah.
That's how I always played.
My
dibs.
guy, my Thai guy,
Dibs, shotgun, whatever.
sits in left field too. And last time I went to Wrigley, my Thai guy was like, "Hey, come down. I got a spot right for you." So while season ticket holders have this unwritten rule of hey, this is my spot, they're very welcoming. It's very welcoming in the bleachers. I think this whole thing happened because whoever this guy was just went to Wrigley Field with the purpose of, I'm taking this motherfucker's seat.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
And to me, that
tried
I
to
honestly,
Amber Heard
I
in that
kind
seat
of,
right there.
I kind of respect it just a little bit because it's he just doesn't care.
Nick
But,
says
you know,
Crawley wouldn't do Jeff dirty like that.
It's true. Probably wouldn't.
probably
again,
not.
I'm just
Probably
saying
not.
there's-
Again,
there's
we
other
should
people
we
that
should
could
get
claim
Jeff
those
on the
seats.
show. I would love to just. I
gotta
would love
reach
to
out
hear
to
him
Jeff.
just break down the entire thing for us, and then we can just
Here's
converse.
what I would really like. I would like if somehow anybody knows the guy that sat in the seat
Yeah, that's true.
and took it from Bleacher Jeff, and then Bleacher Jeff, and if we could get them screen by screen,
man.
and then we'll play Judge Judy,
Let's do that.
and we'll decide what happens with the
Right.
seat. That's the podcast I would like to see.
I love BKR Sports comment. It says the fact this is a conversation point for a losing team right now, fighting for a seat at a game is incredible.
That's
Again,
true.
it's different
It's
here,
different
man.
It's different here. Cody Scott Crawford asks, "Are we getting 40 wisdom bombs this year?" Which also my Jordan Bash and MLB.com would call them wisecracks, and I think that's awesome. I like
Okay, I like that. I like
wisecracks.
that. 40 bombs. I think it's doable. What he came up in May of last season and hit
call 'em
32,
whizzers.
26,
20
28, no
or
28,
28, whatever. So he was close to 30 coming up in May. Why not? Just hit 40. Give us something to talk about in 10 years and be like, hey, remember when Patrick Wisdom hit 40 bombs in 2022?
Hey, he's got 10 at the quarter season mark. So
yeah, it's possible. You know,
If he hits 40, does he get Bleacher Jeff's seat when he comes back as a non-player someday?
He should.
maybe.
Sounds like actually Bleacher Jeff
with him.
caught one of the Wisdom home runs
Yeah.
in the Bleacher Jeff seat in the bleachers.
Yeah.
Did he?
He did
That's a true story,
he
apparently.
did make a great catch. And like Ian Happ is like mentioned him on like in interviews and stuff like that. Like he's very well known.
Yeah, he's
out
I mean, especially being in left field, you know,
Right.
like he's like I've heard the name. I don't know who he is, but I've heard the name. It's kind of like all these other.
I
all these other
personally-
Is he a
characters.
bigger name than Crawley?
Probably not.
I don't know.
Well, you haven't heard about him before.
I didn't know the name Bleacher Jeff until a couple weeks ago, but I'm not in tune with like the crowd is like Cody's out in the bleachers a lot. Like
Yeah.
I've sat in the bleachers or been in the bleachers and
I've known of him for
Decades.
a while, but I've never actually met him, even though I
decade,
sit in
maybe.
left field all the time. I've just never had a reason to go up to him and introduce myself.
if
I
that
guess I
would-
do now.
Another question. This is another question for that podcast, but like if he likes that like he likes that corner seat, if you didn't get that one and somebody had taken it, why not run over to right field and see if it's available there?
Because right field sucks.
Ah,
Like, duh.
interesting.
Right field
Interesting.
sucks.
Or is that the section? Is that the section where they have those like little bar tabletops? Right. You're talking about that. Even in left
Yeah.
field, right behind that is the section with the
It's
thin
like
layer
yeah,
of like plywood.
yeah.
That's
it's
supposed
right
to be a
below
bar.
that, and like
They
if you
tried
look,
to make it like the Green Monster a little bit.
yeah, and if you look like where he sits, like is right by where they have like the bullpen signs and everything. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. This story is
Is Dolores still with us?
unbelievable.
That's an honest question. Is
know.
Dolores still with us?
I think she is. I
'Cause
think
don't see her
someone
on the
tweeted.
broadcast. I'm
Someone
hoping
tweeted about
she's
her the
doing
other
well.
day. Someone tweeted about her the other day. I saw on my timeline. And didn't say that she had passed. So that's good.
That's good.
I mean, we're hoping that.
Yeah. I mean,
You know?
I don't know.
We should get her
I don't
on the
know. I don't know.
podcast.
She'd be great. I actually have a not safe for air Dolores story that I'll share with you guys after the podcast.
Sounds good.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Like that.
Real quickly, Marcus Stroman on the mound for Game 2 of this series. I heard Corey and Brendan sort of waxing poetic a little bit about his last outing, his first one back from COVID. I don't remember thinking it was spectacular, but I think our way of looking at it was, well, you couldn't expect too much. You know, he hadn't pitched since May 1st. You know, it had been more than 2 weeks since he'd pitched in a major league game, so we didn't think the stamina would be there. But we also said we thought he might be rusty, when in reality he pitched well early, and then he gave up the runs.
Yeah, it was
so
like the
it
first time
wasn't
through
rust.
the-
Rust was not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he had two really good starts. He had 2 good starts before that. I think the first one of the April 26th or whatever day it was a quality start, I want to say. And then he had that one on that 7 innings against the Brewers on the first, which is really, so he was building up really well, had this little setback, and then when we talked to him after his last start, he said he felt a lot better than he thought he would. He was competing in the zone, competing well, like the things that he wanted to do. He said he's had long layoffs before and didn't compete very well with his pitches, but that he felt like he was doing that. So maybe, and then we had 3 perfect innings, right, to start off, like 3 really good innings.
His first time through the lineup, it was great.
It was
We were
great.
like,
And then-
oh, he's back.
Yeah, and then so I think I don't know if it was I don't know if rust is the right word, but he just obviously a long layoff that you're not going to expect him to throw a perfect game, or even 7 innings would have been asking a lot. So maybe he gets that first one out of the way. I know he said it's kind of like, hey, I felt good, and I'm glad I felt good, going in there right away, especially that first inning, breezing. I think it was 8 pitches, something like that. I mean, he breezed through it, and he said he felt good, and that's kind of all you could have asked for. I mean, I know the ending, the box score doesn't look as great, but just him feeling good, feeling like he competed well, even though maybe he got hit or whatever it is. I think that's like kind of the best thing you wanted from that start. And then now going forward, it's kind of getting back to where it looked like he was on May 1st when he beat the Brewers. I think he shut him out, right? 7 shutout innings.
Yeah.
So when he beat the Brewers on May 1st, you want to see now that he's back and he's had that start back to kind of get back into the swing of things, that he's, kind of back to where he was at the beginning of the month.
It was disappointing that their 4 starters pitching together for the first time, including Steele as the 4th guy, were only able to win one of those 4 starts, right? So
They're due.
They're due for that. Somebody on this here, Ravi says, looking for 6 good innings. I think that's fair. You'd like to see 6 out of Stroman and beat a bad Reds team. I want to see him pitch what they paid for in this start. I think that's fair. I think he probably will. And to wrap up the podcast, this is the funniest thing I've seen. BKR Sport, talking about the Bleacher Jeff thing, says he's actually in Australia right now, but he'd like to call dibs on his spot in the bleachers. So even from Australia, Cubs fans would like to call dibs in the bleachers.
Hey, I just love the fact that we got Cubs fans in Australia.
That's right. And then I'm sure you're like, as long as they're in left field, you can call them.
Yeah. You go sit in left field, find me, we'll have a beer together. Again, my final 2 cents on this whole thing. Season ticket holders, they do pay more money than the rest of us.
A lot more.
And they do let them come in beforehand. So the day that guy took Bleacher Jeff's seat, Bleacher Jeff, I assume, was arriving late, and that's why this guy got the seat before him. So that guy was honestly just lucky that Bleacher Jeff wasn't in the season ticket holder line before the game.
Now,
it wouldn't have even happened if he just would have been in line early enough. But at the same time, again, the fact that the Bleacher Bums have this unwritten rule of
code,
the code of this is my spot.
This is where I sit.
Should he put his name on tape, Jeff, and just put it on that spot in the bleacher?
Put it on there, yeah.
Tell you one thing: if Amber Heard was there, she left her mark. That seat would be hers.
14 pitches, by the way.
Up.
First inning last time, 14 pitches for Stroman. The second inning is what I was thinking of. I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He had a 6-pitch second inning last time, and the third was another 3-up, 3-down inning. So first time through the order was very good. Second time is when he gave a couple runs. You kind of hope that he can make it through. If he makes it through six very clean innings, he can get to a 7th maybe. That's obviously very good and kind of on track from where he was on May 1st.
Yeah, and if everyone's on board for the Cubs should trade Stroman, well, you need him to start pitching more like he did in Milwaukee for the Cubs to get any real value back for him. So
there it is.
There it is.
That's
me being realistic. I'm done being realistic until tomorrow.
Listen, until somebody tells us otherwise, we're calling dibs on these 3 seats for tomorrow's postgame.
Yeah. I never sit the middle.
Dibs.
Never.
Oh, I haven't even shown off my shoes yet, though. But
that's because you always want to sit in the middle.
New Vans. Just saying. They're fresh.
I'm wearing the Oreos today.
They're fresh.
Just wearing shoes. Thanks for watching and listening to the CHGO Cubs postgame show podcast. We will be back for Game 2 postgame show on Tuesday. Hope you'll join us then. Until then, fly the W.